Welcome to the huddle and welcome to your post-game report. The Jazz knocked off the Los Angeles Clippers tonight, 106-100. Big games all over for the Jazz. Joe Ingles, by the way, scored his 4,000th NBA Jazz point. Big numbers for basically everybody on this team except for Donovan Mitchell. Again, a lackluster night for him at 15 points. He was 6 for 14 shooting tonight. Wasn't amazing, but he still had impacts on and off of the ball, very important for him to have that rhythm. But the big story for the night, Mike Conley. This may or may not be his highest scoring night in Jazz history for him, and that is 33 points. You can see it right here. He was plus 24 on the night. Big numbers. He had 33 points, 7 assists, 1 steal, 2 rebounds. Huge night for Mike Conley. Very good. I really like to see that out of him. Coming out of last year, a lot of people were doubting him, so I'm proud that he's able to come out and he's really playing well. He's showing that he is going to prove those doubters wrong. He's been the highest scoring guy on the Jazz through a few games, had the most impact for sure. Georges Niang got a couple minutes, did not score, did not play at all very well. Jordan Clarkson didn't have his best game, coming off that $25,000 fine for pushing that ref after he messed up his dribble. He had 9 points on the night. He was plus 5, was 3 for 7 shooting, 2 for 5 3-pointers, but still his contributions are needed. The Jazz needed it real good to win, or real bad to win. So the Jazz now pushing their record up to 3-2, and the Los Angeles Clippers at 4-2. Rudy Gobert, by the way, had a good night. He was plus 0 from the floor, but that's mostly because they played Derek Favors, who had a huge night for the Jazz. 14 points and 11 rebounds, 2 assists for Derek Favors. Big play right there. That's why they got him. They needed him to get rebounds, hit quick jumpers. He was very good. He was very good. And Joe Ingles, again, scoring his 4,000th Jazz point tonight. He actually scored 11 in this game. He was 1 for 3 3-pointers, had a lot of nice scoop shots inside, as we see him do quite often. Had 2 fouls, though, 1 turnover for Joe Ingles, but very good game overall for him. And Bojan Bogdanovic, another bad night for him. Not looking like the same Bojan we had last year. And the question is, could it be the wrist? I think it could. It's we're gonna have to see how he goes. He's gonna have to loosen up. He's gonna have to start shooting a little bit better for it to make sense for him to be this Jazz very good guy. But that was a terrible phrase. So he needs to get better, and it's very important that he gets out of the blocks. In one of these games, he's gonna have to start making threes. And it's very important that he does that so he can get into a rhythm. That's all he needs. We saw him in the preseason. He was hitting threes. I don't think it's his wrist. I think it's just he's in a slump right now. The wrist definitely plays into it. I don't think that's the whole thing, though. So now for the Clippers, we'll take a look at them. Kawhi Leonard came alive in the last few minutes right there, and so did Paul George. He was hitting threes nonstop right at the end of that game. Paul George with 25 points and Kawhi Leonard with 20. 8 for 19 field goals for Kawhi and 6 for 22 for Paul George. Serge Ibaka had 13 points. He played a pretty nice game. Plus 2 on the night for him. Patrick Beverley, the defense was immaculate from Patrick Beverley. Played a very nice game. Plus 21. But they did give the ball to him at the end, and I wasn't sure why they did that, because he's not the best shooter on the team, not even close to the best shooter on the team. He took a 3, and it's just not what I would have gone for if I was the coach at the very end of an important game. Nicholas Batum, their acquisition from the Hornets, had 9 points. He was 6 for 6 free throws, by the way. He had a lot of shots at the line after 2 fouls from beyond 3-point range. Very good game from him for the Clippers. But overall, a great game from the Jazz. And it just looked phenomenal. Their ball movement was flawless for most of the game. Had some careless turnovers in the middle and towards that last stretch at the end. But overall, the Jazz stuck with it. We had a little bit of a lapse in the third quarter, heading into that fourth quarter. We had a lapse, probably about a 7-minute lapse, where we weren't scoring, we weren't defending very well, but we cleaned that up. We played well. It was a good game. Overall, the Jazz played really well. A big win for Utah, getting some rhythm. A lot of people had said that all the Jazz need to do is get a win, and they will be back on track winning games after a couple losses. And that is basically all I have to say. So thank you for stopping in. This has been The Huddle.